Hello, hello, everyone. My name is True Pettigrew. I am the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx. And this is I believe it's our fourth installment of our interview series with executives from the NBA across different teams across the NBA. We're doing this interview series to help educate, inform, and empower HBCU students on how to identify the career path into the NBA. We want to give you the opportunity to hear from some executives in the NBA across different teams. And today is no different. And today, you're going to hear from two high powered, big time superstar. Let me see, what else can I go with for these two gentlemen, for these two brothers? Extremely accomplished, guru level. I'm running out of stuff, but for my brother Seth Bennett and Ronnie Bryant of the Charlotte Hornets, they are going to share some valuable information with us today. Two amazingly accomplished gentlemen in the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets, and we are very excited to have them both share their knowledge, wisdom, and expertise with us today, as we are encouraging all of you HBCU students out there, please apply for this NBA HBCU fellowship opportunity so that you can have a fellowship opportunity, serve in the role of a fellow or an intern with an NBA team this summer. The application process ends tomorrow. It ends tomorrow. So please, I'm sorry, it ends on the 20th. What is the day? The 18th? So it ends
18.
on the 20th, right? So it closes out on the 20th, which I think is Sunday. So please apply. And so without further ado, I want to introduce my mellow, my man, 100 grand. See, I'm showing my age now, Seth. That's how we used to say back in, what was it? My man, 100 grand.
Exactly.
So Seth Bennett of the Charlotte Hornets. Seth, thank you so much for being here, man.
So true. I'm truly humbled of the invitation, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do whatever I can to pass along, hopefully, some sound advice to the next generation. So thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the discussion.
No, thank you. So let's start off with you just talking a little bit about your role with the Charlotte Hornets and how long you've been with the team.
Sure. So I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, and this is my 16th season. And I started with the team when we were the Charlotte Bobcats. And I've been a part of a number of milestones over the course of the years. In my role now, heading our marketing and consumer engagement group, which we're responsible for all of our campaigns that are supporting revenue. We're responsible for our game day presentation, our events, our retail operation, our creative department, our youth programs, and I also happen to have responsibility overseeing the business side of our G League affiliate, the Greensboro
Mm.
Swarm. So quite an extensive piece over the years. I've also overseen our digital and PR group. Thankfully, we've got some great teammates now, so I don't have to load my plate down quite as much. But certainly I've had some great, enjoyable, and memorable experiences in my role over the years.
No, thank you for that. And it sounds like some very robust responsibility. It sounds like a lot, right? So I'm sure you have a phenomenal team helping you out.
Yes, and I would quickly add that. Don't let me even pretend that I don't have a great cast of teammates and professionals at all levels, left and right, who I've got a lot of long time relationships with in terms of the tenure of my team. I'm pretty fortunate in that, and the group that I work with have been with us some for well over a decade. So that certainly makes things go a bit easier because we all kind of understand what the expectation is and how to get there.
No, thank you for that. So to that point, right? The young people, the students, the HBCU students that are tuning into this right now, that may even be watching the replay of this,
Mm-hmm.
this is telling them that there are job opportunities in the NBA, right? They all of
Mm-hmm.
the positions you just talked about, that team of people that ladders up to you, even your role as a chief marketing officer. These
Mm-hmm.
are real opportunities that exist in the NBA beyond being a player or being a coach. I have to be honest with you. When I was growing up, I had no idea that you could work in the NBA in the capacity that you're talking about right
Mm-hmm.
now. prior
Hmm.
to you coming into sports, were you aware of the business side of the game?
I would tell you not at all. Certainly not to the degree that we understand. And there's never been a better time for young people who have an interest in a career path in the business side of professional sports, and certainly in the NBA, as I consider us to be a leader in that area. And to get in and understand it's across all disciplines. I'm in a marketing capacity where there are revenue areas, there's accounting, there's finance, there's legal. Certainly, you're going to hear from one of my colleagues who really kind of keeps us moving in today's world in the information technology area, the event management, arena management. It just goes on and on. And so there are a lot of opportunities, and I'm pleased that we can now help young people prepare themselves. I was very fortunate when I came in, and there weren't a lot of awareness for, I would say, HBCU graduates coming out of college and what opportunities did exist.
Got you. So, and I will say this, and I just want to give you a nod and give you your flowers, and not just you and Ronnie and Fred. For me, I'm at an executive level, and that's awesome, right? I'm a C-suite executive for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm grateful and humbled by that. I'm grateful for that, and I'm humbled by that. But I'm in my second year in the league, right? And I look at people like you, Seth. I look at people like Ronnie. I look at people like Fred and what Fred has, been for me and to me, like already, right? Um, that is such a source of inspiration
Hmm.
even for me at this level to say, okay, wow, I have other people I can look to, other people that I can turn to, other people that look like me that have done this, that have
Hmm.
navigated whatever pitfalls or obstacles that may come my way. I know, and I haven't asked you, so I'm making an assumption. I know I could
Sure.
pick up the phone and call you, right, to
Hmm.
help me figure out,
Absolutely.
okay, how I can navigate some of the things you've already navigated. How
Hmm.
important is that to have diversity at all levels for
Yeah.
young people that you may be experiencing some sort of imposter syndrome? They look
Yeah.
around and they don't see a lot of people that look like them, and
Yep.
that may cause them to not move with as much confidence as they probably should.
You really spoke directly to what I was about to say. No matter how accomplished I might have been, no matter what I achieved, it's pretty intimidating when you first come into the NBA, which is an international brand. And you look around the room, and early on, there weren't as many people that looked like me. And, I'll have to, if I can, acknowledge the fact that the great Michael McCullough, who is CMO and Executive Vice President of Miami Heat, who has been with that organization for a very long time. He was the one person that I had to look to. I had others in maybe the collegiate level that I've worked at, but none at the professional level. But I also would have to say that the NBA, and I think at that time, Commissioner Stern, certainly Adam Silver, who was the deputy commissioner, they created an environment where other executives who didn't look like us really reached out, to help us understand the
Mm,
nuances of the NBA. And so I think, I can't not appreciate the fact that they were willing to do that and see someone who maybe didn't look like them, but they're willing to help us understand the business. And so it was great to have Michael, but there were so many others. I think of Rick Welts, who was at Phoenix at the time, and Scott O'Neal, and so many others. I don't want to miss anyone, but they know who they are. That really took time to help us understand what the NBA business was. And I absolutely understand imposter syndrome. You get in that room and you say, man, am I really here? Am I really capable of doing that? But I'm here to say you are. And I can't go any further without
mm.
shouting out my alma mater. You didn't mention that, but North Carolina A&T State University, where I learned
Okay, okay.
a lot. I tell you all the intestinal fortitude and the stick to itiveness and all those terms that you hear. It's a real thing, and you learn how to adapt. You learn how to overcome. Your creativity goes to an all-time high. It's not I can't do it, but how can I do it? How can I make it work? And sometimes we make it look better than what it really is. But that was part of the challenge, and I embrace that, and I think that has to be part of where I'm at today.
No, and thank you for sharing that and for shouting out your HBCU, right? An
Absolutely.
HBCU alum. But I think that's even more encouraging, right? More inspiring because you were someone that was where the students we're talking to once were. You were that HBCU student, right?
Mhm.
And now you are an executive. You're an executive in the NBA, right? That's well accomplished. So we've heard the old adage, it's hard to be it if you can't see it.
Mhm.
Well, looks you all are looking at it right now, so see it,
Yes.
take a good look, take a picture if you need to, whatever y'all do, screen grab. We got the tech guy on here now. I don't know the right language, what they supposed to do, a screen snap grab shot, something, what well, help me out, Ronnie. You see me
You
struggling, man. You see me
you
struggling.
got them all covered, man. I think you got them all covered. Screen grab or screen chat, whatever. Yeah, you got them all covered. Man. You got us covered.
Okay, all right. So you all are looking at it right now. This is an example of what you can be, if not more, right? And I love that you said earlier, Seth. You reminded them that they are enough. They
Mhm.
belong. They belong where we are. They belong in this space. And I think we can feel intimidated at times when we are surrounded by the dominant majority that does not look like us. We can feel intimidated and question ourselves as to whether or not we do belong. Right. So I'm
Mhm.
glad you said those words. I think it's important that they hear that they do belong. So, Ronnie, welcome, Ronnie. How are you? So, Ronnie, why don't you just take a second or two and introduce yourself to the audience? Another executive for the Charlotte Hornets is here and ready to drop some jewels.
Yes. So, great day, everyone. My name is Ronnie Bryant. I'm the Chief Information Officer for the Charlotte Hornets. Been here. This is my 18th season. A graduate of Alabama State University. Go Hornets again.
All right.
Um, so, you know, upon attending Alabama State University, I worked in their IT department as went to school at night, and then after graduating, I left there and then got a job for First Union Bank, which is now Wells Fargo, and then left there, worked for Novant Health in their IT department, and then saw this interesting job online. I had always had a dream of playing in the NBA, but my vertical challenges and my left-handed whack jump shot uh, didn't see it in my future. So saw a job online. I applied. A few months later, got a phone call and started working for the Hornets. That's how it, well, the Bobcats at the time, but that's how it all started. And been here
No,
since then. Love it.
no, thank you. I appreciate that. And you talked about having that dream, right? And I would imagine all the students that are watching this, that are watching the replay, have a dream, and many of them may have dreams of working in the NBA, working in sports, being in sports. But there are some obstacles that they will face along the way, right? And in your case, your obstacles was that vertical, right? That was an obstacle, right? But you here, brother, you here.
I made it. I made it.
So can you talk a little bit about just giving our audience some insights and perspective on what are some of the things that you were able to do to overcome whatever obstacles you faced, and not and beyond the dream of being an actual player, but I'm sure as you've navigated your career and ascending to the point where you are now as an executive, you've had some obstacles. What are some things that you can share with our audience to help encourage them to to give them a sense of resilience and fortitude to overcome whatever obstacles they may face?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It was a ton of obstacles, and it is definitely challenging in the technology space because you are in a room where you are most of the time you are in a minority, and it's not as many opportunities to lift yourself up or get ahead of the group. So, a lot of obstacles I face is, training. I invested heavily in my own training and personal
Mm,
development, and I worked hard. The school, going to a HBCU, they did invest heavily in technology and gave us everything we needed to be successful. Some people grabbed onto it, some didn't, but I took advantage of all my resources there, and also it helped me, with networking and selling myself, and as well as selling my skills. And so that helped, which also opened the door for me to be able to go and work in the banking industry. And the skills I learned at Alabama State University advanced me to where I can even be a candidate for the position. And so that helped
Okay.
me, grow there. And as my school my skills continue to grow, it impress someone, at Bobcats at the time to look at my resume out of the thousands that they had applying for the job, and I rose to the top. So yeah, it was definitely a blessing.
No, no, thank you for sharing that. And something that stood out to me about what you said is your willingness to invest in yourself, right? And
Yeah,
so I just want to make sure that the audience that's watching, the young people that are watching, picks up on that. It's like, yeah, the obstacles are going to come, right? And you may hit some roadblocks, but just take a step back and ask yourself, okay, what new skills do I need to develop or enhance to
yeah,
either go get around it, get over it, or bust through it? Right?
yeah.
What I need to do? And sometimes you're going to have to invest in yourself because
Hmm.
no one's going to give it to you. And then don't be afraid to ask for help is also what I would add to that, right? If you do run into an obstacle, because I think a lot of times we're hesitant to ask for help because we don't want to give the impression that we're not good enough or that we don't
True.
know what we're doing. And so what I'm taking away from you is a willingness to invest in yourself and not being afraid to ask for help. And one other thing I'll add to that is something, Seth, that you said, and I never got a chance to respond to it, but you talked about the men that came before you that you could look to, that you could call
Hmm.
upon. And
Hmm.
two of you, I didn't tell Ronnie either, but I'm looping Ronnie in. Ronnie, you've become one of those people for me, in addition to Fred and Seth. So you are going to be that for me as well. 18 years in, man, I got 2 years in, so you got a few years on me. So you're gonna have to give me some guidance and direction here. But the importance of
I got you.
mentors, my man. So, but Seth, you also talked about those people that you could turn
Hmm.
to. So, in addition to investing in yourself, in addition to a willingness to ask for help, I think that willingness to ask for help kind of has a correlation to the importance of identifying mentors. How important are mentors, to achieve long term
Yeah.
success in the
Uh,
NBA?
Yeah, I think it's critically important. You have to have someone that you can confide into, that will kind of help you understand. Because as confident as I am, there are absolutely days where I may have a misstep or I'm not looking completely at the picture as I should. So it's mentors, it's also peers, being able to go to the person to the left and right and ask them for advice and know that they're going to be vested in your interest. And, going back to your mentors, I think it's important to understand that it's a mentor slash advocate, because you need
Mm,
people who are in your corner who are willing to speak on your behalf when you're not in the room. And let me be very clear. I know I used a couple of male examples, but I would be absolutely remiss if I did not make sure and be clear that my mentors have been men and women
mm,
from across the profession of sports, in the community, that I've looked at as inspiration as well. And I think that's key to kind of understand and really open that. And also the diversity of your mentors. I know that I've had a number of individuals from the majority community that have
mhm.
looked at me and seen something and been willing to invest their time in me as well. But it's critically important. And also, again, you need them to be advocates for you, and also having um, peers that you can look to. And we're fortunate, Ronnie and I, to have one of the most respected professionals in sports, a lady named Donna Julian, who's our executive vice president, woman of color, that we can go to for advice and things of that nature. So being able to get it from different degrees. And I'll give you one last piece. If Ronnie and I thinks about it, and he's actually been in uh, professional sports a year, at least 2 years longer than I have. He was one of the original um, employees of the Charlotte Bobcats when the NBA
Mm.
returned to Charlotte. So let's not look at that. And he started, at the entry level and moved to where he's at today. I think that's important. I was fortunate to come in at a vice president level. He came in at the start, at the base, and earned that respect and prepared himself. But how fortunate are Ronnie and I that we worked for in our careers Bob Johnson and Michael Jordan. And,
Right.
you know, the fact that as business people, that they took their success and created opportunities for so many, not just the two guys on the screen, but for so many men and women, and have create opportunities for us to achieve, validate, be that aspiration for other people. And I think, this is Black History Month, and I don't want that to go overlooked as we talk about how we've gotten to where we are and the influences. And I think we also have to pay tribute to those who could have taken their treasures and run away and enjoyed a great life, but they decided to make investments and do something that would be life changing for a lot of people.
No, thank you. And you know what? Because it is Black History Month, right? And so when we get off of this screen where we are going to encourage the students to apply, right? Go to nbafoundation.com, go to nba.com. If you're watching, you can click the what you call that thing, Ronnie? What's that little image with the dinosaur?
QR
Can
code.
you see it?
The QR code.
Thank you. The QR code, right? You can click the QR code, right? But when we come back from that screen, I'm going to ask whoever's in the background making all of this fantastic technology, visual stuff happen to get me a screen grab of the three of us on here, because with that reminder of this being Black History Month, hey, Seth, I'm going to take this picture. You're going to see this picture on Al Gore's internet. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and take a screen grab of us, man. This the one right here. I make sure y'all looking good. Y'all looking right. You know what I mean? So we're gonna make sure we celebrate that. Yeah.
I'm glad you're encouraging everyone to apply, and I certainly support that. We know even in applying, there will be some people who unfortunately, don't get to participate. Don't overlook the value in participating in the process and how important it will be for you in this application process and what that will teach you and how that will prepare you for the next opportunity. If you've ever been turned down for an interview, that's not the end all be all, but what can you take from that? So when you get in the room the next time you felt that next application, you're going to be even more prepared and comfortable. And so I don't want to, go to the doom side of things, but just getting in the process is a win. If you apply for this program, you are taking a step to better yourself, and hopefully as many as possible get accepted. But, take that chance, take that leap of faith. Don't be afraid of disappointment.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And we know at least 60, right? Because each team, I think,
Yes.
can accept 2, and some teams may accept 3. But at a minimum, 60 people will have the opportunity to be fellows this summer in the NBA. I think that's HBCU students specifically. I think that's phenomenal. I really do. So thank you for reiterating that. I'm sorry, Ronnie, did you have something to add to that?
No, I was saying that's amazing, and I agree with everything Seth said.
Yeah. So as we get close to wrapping up, both of you went to HBCUs. What would you encourage these students to consider from a curriculum standpoint if they want to do what you're doing, right? If they want to get into marketing, if they want to get into IT, what are some? And then I think they have standard, like there's curriculum for marketing, right? There's sports marketing in particular. Does it have to be sports marketing, Seth? And then IT, Ronnie, is there something they should be considering specifically for IT that's unique to the league that they should be considering? And are there attributes that you would be looking for, in your role as leaders? Or are there certain character traits and personality attributes that, they should be mindful of? So, I'll let you start with that, Ronnie.
Okay, yeah. So that's a really good question, and it's crazy because now and in today's world, what I did in college, it really didn't transfer over. I'm working on servers, building networks, fighting the cyber war and all that stuff. At the time that was not offered, back in the day when you were in school. So I think anything, and now you have the social media, anything you do in technology, any major you have can translate over to sports. whether you major in MIS, Management Information System, Computer Information System, Computer Science, Computer Engineering, all of those, different roles can translate over to sports. So I think you can go in any different area and it'll translate over, being that, we have production, we have engineering, all the whole area. So I think you can go in any area and it'll translate over. But one of the key things that you will benefit from is that being a team player. If you're a team player and are pride yourself in your area, I think you'll be a great teammate and you'll excel.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you.
Sure. And I'll add to that. I think he's correct that it doesn't have to be a narrow focus in terms of your undergrad degree. Certainly those that choose to go on to post, there are opportunities to expand and get a little more specialized if you choose to. But there are a number of other programs that you can learn and enhance your skill sets on. Certainly it doesn't have to be sports marketing, marketing in general. I think general business courses are always helpful because you have to understand, a P&L at the end of the day, right? Because this is a for-profit scenario and all the influences. So it helps to have that. But one thing I would say is that, more and more our industry as a data-driven kind of business. And so being able to understand data analytics, things of that nature, I think are also good programs to have. You don't necessarily have to be a major, but having a good understanding of how to interpret data is a very valuable asset. Because you can manipulate sometimes numbers to reflect whatever narrative you want to have, but those who are really uniquely qualified to be able to do that, I think you have somewhat of an advantage when it comes to curriculum background.
No, thank you. And thank you both so much. As we are wrapping up, I just want to say thank you for your willingness to share and to pour into our audience, this group of HBCU students. Thank you for your leadership, not just at the Charlotte Hornets, but in this league and in our communities, just being the leaders that you are, being those examples for so many others to follow, including myself. So please apply for this fellowship. Ladies and gentlemen, HBCU students, please apply for this fellowship. We are waiting for you. The NBA wants talented individuals such as yourselves. NBAfoundation.com or NBA.com and apply today. Seth, thank you. Ronnie, thank you. I look forward to continuing to work with the both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for the work you're doing.
Thanks for the opportunity, True. Take care.
All right. Take care.